what to do, everybody. Welcome into a brand new edition of Kicking It with the TSK. We're here to review some Survivor Series War Games. It's the full force, the full four, as DC called it last week. DC, Harold, and Rob. We're all here ready to talk some WWE. Like we know what the hell we're talking about. Who am I kidding? The reality is, it's like we're probably mainly watching pay-per-views. I know I'm mainly watching pay-per-views. And no disrespect, we just came off of watching Full Gear, and this one left me no questions. I knew exactly where we were going. I knew how we were finishing. I knew the whole shebang. So I want to give him a little thumbs up to that one, but we will get into that whole aspect as we go along. The upside of this was only 5 matches. Started early in the day, as you can tell, well, at least for us, it's starting early enough and ending early enough that we're able to knock out the recording in the same day. Hopefully it means it drops on a Sunday. I don't see why not. But it was thankful. Again, 5 matches, 2 of them being War Games matches. Big Mike. Mike's jumping on. What's up, Mike? Hopping in all last second.
The whole.
The schmagigatum. I don't even know what that is.
I'll pay you.
I'll say, Mike, I need one of those cool, Yiddish words. Like, what's that? I could...
Chutzpah.
That's what I'm talking. That's my man's right there, the chutzpah. All right, so speaking of chutzpah and all that fun stuff, the women's, and I've said this in Max before, I've said this on previous TSK episodes, the women's matches, for some reason, are always better than the men's, and in my opinion, this one left nothing to be desired. It was all types of fun. The only thing that irked me was the absolute try hard that is fucking Rochelle Rodriguez and who's Candice LeRae. Who's the other one with her?
Candice LeRae.
It is Candice LeRae.
Stratton.
There you go. The whole looking like Diesel thing. It's trying to look like Shawn and Diesel so hard it wasn't even funny. Liv Morgan, that's what I'm talking about. And it just was overly killed for me. But other than that, the match itself was awesome. Bayley had I don't know, I was about to say tattooed, but was it etched into the side of her head? The mask covering up the broken orbital bone for Rhea Ripley was awesome. Some guys were kind of living a sick fantasy, if you know what I mean. But then again, I don't know when they don't do that when Rhea Ripley's on the screen.
The sicko.
Attaboy.
Wait, wrong show.
Wrong show. Oh, God. But again, this whole thing was, and as they always say, the War Games match doesn't actually start until everybody's getting out of the ring, so they're taking their sweet time. I want to say it was Bayley opened it up, Nia Jax opened it up, and it was very typical of every Bayley and Nia Jax match that you ever seen, ever. Candice LeRae comes, was it Candice LeRae? No, Naima comes in. I want to say she got a birthday chant because she's 38?
37.
37. I was close. She's hopped in. Candice LeRae's on the opposite side. Bianca Belair comes in. We get Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky, Rochelle Rodriguez. That goes down and down and down. All of a sudden, Rhea Ripley comes in. That's when the whole mayhem starts. Everything's going bananas. Nia Jax was on a fucking tear for this entire match, and I don't know if that was to show off her being a quote-unquote monster, or if it was just, I have to get into everything. I couldn't decipher the two. Does anybody want to take a gamble at what the hell she was doing? Was she over the top, like, in this match because it's like, oh, hey, I need to be in this match? Or was she just, I have to overtake it? Because to me, it felt like she had to overtake it.
They're showing that she's the queen, she's the dominant force, the irresistible force of the brand, so they wanted to heighten her up as being one of the championship figures in the match.
From the little clips that I caught, yeah, that's what it kind of seemed like.
Yeah.
You know, I think also it could be on a kind of personal level if you think about it. Like, she is somebody that has been dogged for years. Like, and sometimes rightfully so.
I was going to say, there are exceptions.
But I think at the same time, this is something where she feels like she's got to earn that. Like, she's got to earn that spot and show people to say, hey, I got this. And honestly, Mike, you and I have talked about it. She's gotten a lot better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, after she
was like 4 or 5 years ago.
When she lost the 50 pounds, her attitude changed after her first release. I think this has probably been the best run that she's had throughout her entire tenure within the WWE auspices.
We know Mir still loves her.
Yes, she does.
Oh, drink that bathwater, baby.
The doctor. Good
He likes
doctor.
it soapy. He does. He likes it soapy. Match starts about 27 minutes in. This whole thing goes to about I want to say about an hour. Io Sky has this absolute and insensible urge to climb every cage and jump down on it, or off of it, I should say. And she has this necessary need to have a fucking trash can with her. And as much as the spot is a great spot, and it's safe as all fucking hell, the angle that which they shot it made me think everybody's getting beamed with this trash can. She's coming straight down on their heads with this can. I mean, yes, they're going to try to protect her, but no, it was timed excellently. It ended up coming out superbly after we saw the replay, but it just, as a grown man, I holler every fucking time out of sheer just, I don't even know what. Intimidation, I guess. Fear.
I mean, if you would have told me a couple of years ago, Io Shirai is going to be in WWE, and her signature spot for years to come is going to be her jumping off a War Games cage in a trash can.
In a trash can.
Wouldn't have believed it.
This spot is like the equivalent of like how we had to see Kofi Kingston do anything in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
This is the Io spot. This is the trash can Io spot in the War Games, so it's become her tradition.
I like that the comparison you put there.
Love me some Io Sky, and
Hey,
can we keep her out of Hell in a Cell? Like, she'll try and do the same damn.
she's got to
thing
jump off it. What do you mean, keep her out of it? Come on now, she's got to jump off it. Who else is gonna jump off it?
Like, do we not remember that damn near killed Mick Foley?
All right, yeah.
Like, no, no.
No.
She would probably ask to set the cage on fire to like a fire perimeter or some shit.
Yikes.
That'd be wild.
Insanely wild.
Inferno Hell in a Cell.
Please don't do it. Why'd you put it out there? I've told you this before, DC. When you say it on this show, it becomes into fruition.
Manifesting it into the universe, Dan.
Oh, my God.
As Sushi Onita is somewhere going, yes.
Oh, please no. So...
honestly, like, if they do it right, I can see it. I kind of want to see it.
We're touching AEW territory right here with that one. I'll go that far with that statement. I will admit that Staten is the ultimate tease, and not just in the physical aspect, but with this goddamn briefcase. I'm jumping out of my freaking seat. I'm like a 12-year-old who's getting their first computer or something. I'm just going nuts. She's going to do it. She's going to cash in. Fuck the match. I don't give a shit what's going to happen. I'm all excited for the cash in, and then it just doesn't happen. And the problem is I've gotten excited over this exact thing numerous times over, knowing good goddamn well she's not going to cash in. And it just kills me. It absolutely kills me. She has to win when she cashes in, though.
We talked about this on Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling. Like,
yes.
How cool would it be that we got a cash in during a War Games match? Like, it would be the first. It would be the first ever of something of that magnitude happening.
We talked about it on Max. I mentioned it on Max. How I thought it'd be a cool spot to see.
Mm-hmm. The reality is exactly that. It's a cool spot. Throw away the match, the War Games itself, to win the title. But then at the same time, who do you cover? Because you have an opportunity to win a pin over either or. Which, I mean, yes, we understand that the entire story is built towards Nia, but throw a wrench into it.
Honestly, like, I really think... And they could have done something even after the match was over.
Absolutely. It's just a missed opportunity.
It was, but I think you continue to enhance Rhea and Liv, and you got to get a Rhea Raquel payoff because of what happened at not SummerSlam, the one after that. But I mean, you look at it like this. I mean, you have potential for Rhea and Liv going into the new year. Rhea and Raquel match is definitely overdue, and those two have had great matches from their tenure in feud in NXT. So I mean, you pretty much pushed more of the Rhea Liv in there, but also you have Tiffany and Nia in the background, and you also saw Tiffany and Candice. The whole deal, like if you saw like the little subtlety of like, hey, I'm gonna go first out of the cage here, and then boom, I'm going to enter into the War Games match. So you kind of had that little dissension there. So it adds just layers to the story of where they want to tell with Tiffany, Candice, and Nia as well.
I dig it a lot. I love the added stories, and you're 100%. There's added avenues throughout that. Raquel and Rhea do have to collide. I think that's also one that we want to see prior to some titles moving and changing the whole whatever. Good ladies win. Let's just go with that one. Crowd win. Crowd's all excited. They pose together on top of the cage because that's the whole point. You got to fucking do it on top of the cage. They announced 72 plus 72,828. I want to say was the number, the largest arena gate in Canadian history. Canada. I don't believe that. There's no way that's that fucking. I swear they've had more. I swear they have.
I think for that venue, because they clarified it in the press conference. They mentioned that venue.
Thank you, D. I appreciate that. Because to me, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. We move right on to the next one. Honest to goodness, I don't know why I thought, and we predicted this, but I had no idea why I thought this was a triple threat. But it's not, thank God. Shinsuke versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. This was a pure showing of Nakamura's return to quote-unquote Japanese form. He looked the menacing of Nakamura old. He looked like he could immediately take control of the match against anybody, and at the same time make somebody look good. I'm getting fucking text messages after text messages after text messages from casual fans calling me saying, "Holy shit, LA Knight put on a great match." And I'm like, you don't know who the other guy is in the other match. That's cool. I'm just glad that you liked the match. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Definitely a solid match between the two. One of my favorite matches of the night.
Oh yeah.
I thought it started out kind of slow, but I thought that was going to be the pace of the match because I wasn't expecting much, to be honest, from the match. But once I realized where they were going with the match, that they were building up to a solid, legit wrestling performance, I was really wowed by what these guys did. Very great, man. Very good match.
And honestly, I thought they were going to release Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought he was next on the list to get released. You fucking nerds.
Color me a nerd, because I thought that he was on his way out as well. Again, to some, it was a matter of he's sitting there not doing anything. Maybe he wants to leave, but he's never, ever once said he wanted to leave. It's just us, the nerds, if you will, getting bored or upset the fact that we're sitting there waiting for him to do something. We'd rather see him lose to guys like fucking Yano in New Japan than wait and have a good start to their run like this U.S. title win.
I mean, these are the same people that said Dakota Kai was getting released, and here's Dakota Kai getting a victory on Raw with Damage Control, and they're highlighting her more now with the package that we saw. I mean, to go on to Harold's point, what I also like about it, too, is we mentioned the subtleties, intricacies, and nuances. LA Knight came out, dropped the belt. Michael Cole highlighted it throughout the match. Oh, he seems off. What's going on here? And then you hit the Scorpion Death Drop on the Diamond Plate, then the Kinshasa for the 1-2-3. Nakamura, who hasn't won since April. So, I mean, you come back, you reestablish him, this new invention, sort of, with Shinsuke Nakamura, now a 3-time United States Championship. I think everything highlighted, much like Harold said, started off slow, but we picked it up, and then boom, LA Knight back in the chase for that United States Championship, and what a person to better chase than Shinsuke Nakamura himself. So I think everything kind of flowed and went smoothly as it should. You know what I'm saying? Nice pacing that it picked up towards the end.
Put beautifully, Mike. Put beautifully. I love it. Any last minute thoughts before we hop into the next one?
For the love of William Regal, let Nakamura do something with this, please. Like, the start stop thing is just it's a waste on a talent like Nakamura. We all know what he's capable of. Let's give him that platform to do it.
Yeah, real one, please. I mean, hell, he's got a new badass theme, a new badass look. He seems like he's back to Nakamura of old. Run with it, for crying out loud. I did say on Max, and I want to say, it was pretty much just a Max, one of the TSK takeovers, by the way. Just go check that one out. That if there's one person who's going to fully understand how to make Nakamura, quote-unquote, relevant again, it's Triple H or Paul Levesque. The reason is because look how dominant and absolutely entertaining he looked in NXT during the Paul Levesque run of NXT, and now all it is a bigger stage, a bigger audience, and more opportunity to fill that gap because, more of a time slot. So it's a great move. I love that he won the U.S. title. Let's hope he hangs on to it for a bit. That's what I'm worried about. No flippy floppy. Don't give me no shit. Triple threat match. Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser for the Intercontinental Championship. As the Kaiser's coming out, Michael Cole, he bless his heart, as the hillbillies say, bless his heart, says that Kaiser has had an incredible year in 2024. His record on television is 8-16.
My nigga, that's wrong. what the fuck? Where you get that from?
Now, I'm just, as a sports fan, you're firing your head coach with records like that. You know what I mean? You're firing directors, so that's not a fucking incredible year. But, hey, that's Michael Cole. You can tell he's desperately missing Pat McAfee. Maybe one day we'll get it back together. This match was fucking brutal. It was hard-hitting. Sheamus, and I'm going to make fun of him until I can't, is a bit out of shape. And it shows. I can tell from his running, I can tell from his body frame that he's carrying on some extra weight. He's not moving like he used to. But then again, I can only imagine. I won't say he's in his 40s now.
He's in his mid-40s.
So
mid-40s, fella.
And then Ludwig Kaiser is a sneaky younger fella who's going to be in this business for a long time. Bron Breakker is a fucking sheer athletic freak, and I can talk for hours about Bron Breakker. I rant and raved about his fucking small stint in the NFL, but the reality is his transition has been perfect. His athleticism is transitioned perfectly, and they've done nothing but positive for him since he's been on the fucking main roster. I can't say a damn thing about him. However, Ludwig has just been, again, sneaky guy. Yes, he has a fucking shit record, as goddamn Michael Cole, I guess, pointed out in a negative manner, fucker. But he's a kid. He's somebody worth looking out for, who's going to be on the up and up. And it showed awesomely in this one that he can work with the strong hitting. God, I wanted to say strong styles type, but it's a bunch of white fellas. They're not Japanese. I can't hit them with the strong stuff. They just like to beat up each other. There we go. The Fit Finley manner.
Well, because I think our guy Ludwig here, he was big in the European scene over there in the British strong style, if you will.
There you go.
So, don't forget they do have a strong style.
Right. Sorry, Peter Dune.
Yeah, don't forget our boy Peter Dune. He, I thought he had a pretty good showing. We all knew he wasn't going to win, but I think this is just a small taste of what he can do and what to expect from Ludwig Kaiser in the future. I know DC is pretty high on him.
That's what I should be.
And I think this whole match was just a precursor to what to expect from somebody like Ludwig Kaiser. And Bron Breakker, ridiculous. Did Cole say 23 miles an hour coming off the ropes?
23 miles an hour.
Jesus, that's insane.
Now, again, I can only revert to his NFL times. The kid did run a 4.5 or a 4.6. So he ran a 5.4 or a 4.5 something, which, again, for a guy in his position, he was running as fast as the guys behind him. All he was meant to do was block. So he is a natural fucking freak, an athletic freak to the fullest of the extent of the word.
It might run in the genes.
Hey. His goddamn cousin, for crying out loud, apparently is a star Division I wide receiver. So, the genes run awesome in the Rick Steiner family. But speaking of Steiner, Bron Breakker, if you will, I don't want to start talking about when he should lose this IC title. But in all reality, title reigns must at some point come to an end. Is it anytime soon does this kid lose the belt? And if not, does it? I was just gonna say, if not, does it have to be Mania?
I think if you, oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, I think, like, with how this match was really paced out, I mean, it really highlighted all three guys. But I think in this particular scenario, you continue more with the Ludwig Kaiser chasing that Intercontinental Championship, much like the fact how Gunther was. Maybe he could try to break his record. I know Dan mentioned that. We were also on Max and doing our thing as well. But I like also the stance of, you know, Sheamus has never won that Intercontinental Championship, so you have more of the chase with him and Braun Breaker, and you also have that little sidebar of, damn it, Ludwig Kaiser, as soon as he had the bro kick, he pushed him out, you know what I'm saying? He cost him another shot at the Intercontinental Championship, much like Michael Cole highlighted. So I don't see him losing it until Mania, or even if he should lose it at all. But I think I would continue the Sheamus thing, because they've been it's been going on like a broken record. But I think for Sheamus, when he finally becomes a Grand Slam champion, the people are just going to go nuts, because it's Sheamus. He's one of the beloved veterans now.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you have that nice little tie-in. And you have Braun Breaker just calling him an old man, so that helps even more. So, I mean, it works. I think we're going to have that more of a continuance there.
I take it. Rob, anything to add?
I think
Oh, no, Deke, go
eventually,
ahead.
as I was going to say, I think if you really want to have make an effect, then eventually when he loses, it's got to be at one of the big pay-per-views. I'm talking Mania, Rumble, SummerSlam. Not like a podunk throwaway pay-per-view that no one gives a shit about. It's got to be a moment.
Yeah.
100%. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing these three running back. This match was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I can definitely see it running back. But I at the same time, I think the emphasis has been, and again, I kept saying Mania was probably the best bet. And it looks like that's probably where they could push. Mike seems to think that they could extend this whole thing with Sheamus, mainly because of the chase of, the Grand Slam champion, just extending it that much more. You know what I mean? I have to try to get it. Maybe he wins some kind of tournament or whatever, or just stays relevant. You know what I mean? We don't really need any real rhyme or reason to put these two guys back together in 4 months. You just hey, it was a good match. Run it back.
You know, and honestly, I don't know if any of you guys watched the post-show press conference. There was an interview. It was Wade Barrett, Jackie Redmond, and Big E. And they asked Gunther. They said, you know, you had that discussion with Ludwig Kaiser. You know, are you upset that he lost or this and that? And Gunther was cool about it. He said, no, He's got nothing to be ashamed of. He had a good match, this and that. And, you know, he said, I think it's time for him to step out on his own. So eventually, does Ludwig kind of snap and think, well, that he can't get it done? So does this eventually lead to the Gunther versus Kaiser feud? Because I feel like at some point, maybe not right away, but at some point, that's got to be coming.
I can see that.
I think, yeah.
Talk to me, Harold. We'll go. Well, in this, I want to hear from you, actually, Harold. I want to see, because I like the idea of the Gunther Ludwig thing. You know what I mean? The guy that made him popular or whatever, the former leader of the faction, if you will. Is this just going to be? Could this just be like a one-off? Do you need to leave the world title into it? And is Ludwig that kind of a caliber guy to even be getting a world heavyweight title shot in the first place?
I think this is the opportunity for Ludwig to show that he's capable of this. This is a perfect opportunity for him to do that. I don't think the title has to be involved. I don't think that's necessary. I think the feud has roots to be strong enough to build without a title involved. I definitely like to see them explore that a little further. And a little more organically, especially without a title. Mm-hmm. So I think that's definitely a good path to follow.
I think, honestly, and Harold, to build on your point, I think, honestly, you could also do something where Kaiser costs Gunther the title.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's rich.
You know, it's like you could do a storyline where Kaiser you could do it as a triple threat. And, you know, Kaiser has the match won, but Gunther, you know, maybe takes him out and then wins. And that would cause him to snap and just think, well, I had it. You caught. I think it builds that resentment that here's Gunther, he's been the longest reigning NXT UK champion. He's been the longest reigning Intercontinental champion of all time. World Heavyweight champion. The guy has been a champion most of his time in WWE. Mm-hmm. They said something like his WWE record was something like 43-3.
Oh yeah, 44-3. Yep.
Jesus.
I think you could build up that resentment, and watching that press conference made me realize Gunther's been acting very face-ish lately.
Well, there is one way to make him ultimate face, and that's have him lose to Bill Goldberg. Yeah, I had to do it. I had to say it. Gotta hope it's not the truth. I hope it's not the truth. I'm only doing it just to make people mad. Got to make people mad. That's how you garner views on this thing. You understand? Speaking of making people mad, and I'm kind of already pushing right towards the ending to this one. But Gunther versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. We're steamrolling through this fucking show. This match I really enjoyed. Damian Priest is a great worker. And Gunther is literally one of the best that we have. I feel like it could have been a little bit better, a little bit just well worked out. To me, I was starting to get the feels that Gunther is losing a step. That he has the ability to go up against anybody, but at the same time, he's slowly starting to show that he can be beaten by anybody. And it went all the way down to the point where Finn Balor had to come run down and get involved for it to give Gunther a decisive win over Damian Priest. Now, I could go into this whole match itself, but I do want to kind of branch this off, and I want to see if I'm alone in this boat. Does anybody else feel like Gunther's slowly being exposed a little bit during the later parts of his World Heavyweight Championship run?
I kind of think it was, during this match, definitely for sure. You kind of saw that Gunther is not, the immortal being that we think he is. You kind of see some missteps, I guess. His cardio doesn't seem where it normally is. Mm-hmm. Things just kind of seem fractured at the moment, and I think Priest kind of called that out all the weeks building up to the match. I think this match was pretty good too. I definitely liked the match before at SummerSlam.
Yes,
but I thought this one was still pretty solid. Damian Priest is awesome with the selling of the arm and the shoulders and the things like that, utilizing his ground game when he transitioned into that triangle choke. Like, a man that big shouldn't be able to transition that smooth. That was pretty ridiculous.
He's a martial artist.
But, yeah, I mean, it was good. But as far as Gunther goes, I think we're starting to see that he can be beaten, and he probably will eventually be beaten.
I mean, I'll add on to Roberto's point here. I mean, you start off with how he's out, they're doing the catch as catch can, he out wrestles him, and the story being like Robert said, just, he's losing a step, so to speak. And I mean, he saw an opening, he went after the shoulder. I think everything that they went into this, including the Hell's Gate, because one of his biggest influences was The Undertaker, which was a nice tribute, as well as the Razor's Edge spot. Mm-hmm. I think everything worked into fruition here. The nice sequence at the end with Finn Balor coming in and hitting the coup de grace, and then Gunther showing that babyface side, that slow transition to the babyface side, kicking Finn Balor in the face, in the mush, if you will, because he wanted to win on his own. So, I mean, you can build a triple threat with these three. Finn Balor never got his win back, so we're probably going to see another Finn Balor-Damian Priest match. And, I mean, I look at it like this with how Damian Priest's character trajectory has gone. I mean, we're in the anniversary of 6 years since Punishment Martinez made his debut on NXT against Matt Riddle. So, I mean, he's come a long way since that trajectory and that tenure in NXT, and then developing the Damian Priest character. So, I mean, I thought it was fine for what it was. It told the story as it should be, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of these three kind of grouped together. And also, notice it was just Finn Balor out there. No Judgment Day, just an obsessive Finn Balor, because god dang it, I can't stand Damian Priest, and I thought it worked nicely.
Harold?
Yeah, you know what, I don't know if it was Rob or Mo that touched on it earlier with the possibilities of Gunther having a babyface run. I noticed during this match, I discussed it with the people that were watching it with me. It did feel like seeds were being planted for Gunther to eventually have some sort of babyface run. I'd really like to see them explore that and see what he's capable of in that realm, again, with or without a title. I don't think it really matters. But I really enjoyed that part of the storytelling in this match.
I think, with Finn Balor, I think the story is told there. And they were planting the seeds of his split from Judgment Day. Like that, those seeds have been planted. That they're them basically telling him why do you care? It's done. And he can't and he said this past week on Raw, he said, I know we don't have leaders here in Judgment Day, but when we listen to me, things get done. So, further seeds, maybe? Does he try and, pull the leadership card and... I don't know. But I think, they're definitely going the route of Gunther. And, Gunther versus Kaiser, going back to that, doesn't need to be for a title match. You don't need a title involved. And Gunther's one of those guys, does not need a title. Guaranteed the guy's a future Hall of Famer.
No, agreed. And I mean, to go on to Dan's point, I think what I also liked about the inclusion of Finn is because, yes, they've had a match on Raw, but if you recall, before COVID hit, in NXT, when he was the NXT UK champion, we were going to get a Finn Gunther feud, a Walter feud at the time. So, I mean, the fact that we're finally having this reiteration, so to speak, and I mean, the possibilities are endless with how they go with Gunther's character, so it works.
It does work. That's the beauty. But that's also the beauty of Gunther. You know what I mean? He's got, I don't want to say beef with everybody, but he has a little bit of storied history with a lot of different people, and we could definitely see some spin-offs. I'm hoping that he hangs on to this World Heavyweight Championship until about WrestleMania. Maybe he loses it then. Maybe he just continues on a dominant reign. I'm okay with either one. It's just he went, as Rob pointed out perfectly, he went from this unbeatable guy, the unbeatable Gunther, the guy that gave us the reminiscence of PWG, just unstoppableness, to you're starting to see some weaknesses. You're starting to see some flaws. You know what I mean? The reign is finally getting to him. Again, as DC pointed out, pretty much been a champion his entire run here in the WWE. So we get to the main event. The beautiful thing about the Triple H specials, as Daz has called them, is there are 5 matches, so we can fly right through these pay-per-views and right through these reviews. But this one was another War Games. This time was the men's War Games, and I had figured one of them was going to end the show, and I'm glad it was the men's, bigger story in a way. And so it was the OG Bloodline Roman Reigns, the Honorable Uso, Sami Zayn, Jay and Jimmy Uso, and of course Pepsi Phil, CM Punk, against the new Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga Tongaloa, and the unmovable object, if you will, Bronson Reed, the sheer powerhouse who moves like he should not be moving. This dude had an outstanding showing in this match. An outstanding showing. Bronson Reed's been getting fucking just love, and I'm all about it. I'm all here for it. This match is, and I'm going to always have to start it out like this, there just wasn't, to me, it wasn't as good as the women's, but then again, this would have had way bigger of a story than the women's did. So action-wise, lacked a little, but story-wise, we got all the answers, I guess all the questions answered, if you will. There was some animosity between Roman and Punk as we were building up and as guys were making their way into the ring. I want to say it was Jay and Tongaloa, or Tamatonga that started it out. Mr. the whole crazy hyena, or whatever the hell you want to call him. Reminds me of the kid from the Wild Thornberries. But
Bonnie.
Thank you, attaboy.
Bonnie.
This whole match for me, it was a slow, methodical build. When you got to come in, the numbers advantage was the numbers advantage. Once it got evened out, then it would even out. Then the numbers advantage would be the numbers advantage. It would just, we would get to see some high spots every now and again, and then that's when we started to see the entire thing of I want to say it was Roman. It was I want to say Jimmy and it was Punk. And Roman and Punk's getting ready to go, and Roman just puts his hand down and says, no, you don't. And so that's immediate animosity from them. Starts building up this whole thing. Is he going to be willing to play ball? We know CM Punk loves to cause issues. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, AEW. How you doing? But the match continues on. That's right. We'll pay you. The match continues on. The next time they get an opportunity to go in, Punk says, fuck what Roman says. He makes his way in, and so he gets it in there. And Roman is the last one in. And then that's when it starts. About 30 minutes into the actual match, we actually get going. And then that's when just, again, sheer chaos is going through. Sheer chaos. Jacob Fatu is a guy. What do we call Braun Breaker an athletic freak. I don't know what in the fuck to call Jacob Fatu in that same terminology, but he is a different
goddamn anomaly.
There you go.
He's dangerous by design is the best way to describe Jacob Fatu. Dangerous by design.
Dude, just I don't get this kid he's wow. He's fast, he's powerful, he can no-sell your best shot and then serve you one just as good right after. The facial expressions, the unmatched energy. What the hell is this kid? I'm baffled by him every freaking time I see him, and he's consistently on television. I love you, Solo, but he's consistently on television. But
as he should be. He should be on
Jesus
TV every week.
Christ.
All the time. When he's not on screen, everybody should be asking, where's Jacob?
Dude. This guy's he's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. Bronson Reed goes for the giant table spot as he tries to splash from the top of the cage. Punk makes the save. Oh, Punk makes the save. They kept trying to play in some old history about how CM Punk and the Shield had helped CM Punk win a match. You know, Roman Reigns was a part of the Shield. You know, will he still be the enforcer? Well, hey, guess what? CM Punk proved that he could be probably not as big of as an enforcer, but still have his back, which is enough to be said. The whole thing was played up of how if this goes through and they win, Paul Heyman's going to owe Punk a favor. So, luckily, we get towards the end of the match. Solo gets absolutely obliterated by everybody. There's a spear. There's a blue thunder bomb. Somebody gets sent through a table. I want to say gets the GTS, and then a spear, super kicks. God only knows what the fuck else. He got served everything and the kitchen sink with a bar of soap, and they ended up picking up the OG Bloodline, get the win. The story of the Bloodline versus the Bloodline is officially closed from the looks of it, minus the gimmick around Homeboy's name, the neck. But Mike said that one too. And so we have that story, and we have whatever the fuck CM Punk is talking about. So I want to go straight to Mike with this one. What the fuck do you think he's going to be? What, as they say in the Godfather movies, one day I'm going to call upon you for a favor. What do you think that favor is going to be?
I don't know. I think we're going to see something with the Punk Roman exchange. I mean, like you mentioned with the enforcement.
Sorry.
Oh, good. I look at it like this. I mean, you had a nice little callback with Bronson Reed doing the old Rikishi Valvina's fully loaded 2000 splash off the top of the cage, which I thought was sweet. With Punk and Roman Reigns, man, I mean, there's history there, so I'm sure it's going to lead to a match or calling on favor. We don't know, and that's the beautiful part of it, because it could go any different directions. But I think the overall general consensus of this feud is, I'm sure we're going to see Rock in the future. I'm sure we're going to see more to it, the layers to it. But I think as of right now, while he did pin Solo, the Ulafala is still not back in his possession, so I'm sure we're going to get more with that. But I don't know. For me, the best thing I can say is I'm here for the ride, and that's what's the best part of the Triple H, the Paul Levesque era. You're here for the ride. It could go so many twists and turns, so many different directions. I was really hyped with this match just because of everybody involved. It was great to see Jimmy and Jay back together. You got to see Jacob Fatu, like you mentioned. Can Punk and Roman be on the same page? Everything moved well. And also I like the fact that Solo went out in defiance, where he's just like, I'm still your tribal chief, as he gets the spear 1, 2, 3. So, I mean, it all worked to its advantage. But as far as the favor goes, I think it's going to lead to Punk and Roman. I think it's going to lead to something more within the bloodline. I don't know. Personally, I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm here for it, is the best way I can put it.
Love it. DC, anything to add on this fun thing? You know, where are we headed? As you say,
if I'm looking at this, and some of the commentary kind of made me question, because they mentioned after they said, the OG Bloodline's victorious, but Solo Sikoa remains the tribal chief. But he lost.
He gets there.
Took the pin. Now, maybe maybe do it.
Bro,
like
it's coming.
TLC match for the Ulafala. Paul Heyman on a pole.
Paul Heyman on a pole match. There you go.
Oh,
Bro. Let me tell you something, bro.
Realistically,
bro.
Goodness gracious. He said he's Paul Heyman on a pole match. I like Paul Heyman on a pole match. I think that'd be actually something worth a damn.
We're gonna do. We're gonna put Paul on the pole. We're gonna put his suit. We're gonna put his little hanky that he has in his suit, bro. And he's gonna be up there, bro. $1 million idea, 3.3 viewers.
Hey Vince, what do you think of 2 night pay-per-views?
Bro, here's the deal. They fucking watered him down, bro. It's not like what I saw it was back in the day, bro. When Vince and I were in the meetings, bro, it's not the same, bro. I don't like it, bro.
So,
Not the same.
honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if eventually it's going to lead to a Punk versus Roman feud, and Paul turns on Roman.
I was just about to say the seeds were
Because
planted.
you have the story.
and that's what they go through with.
Exactly. You've got the story where Punk can say to Roman, he can say, when they took out your wise man, where were you?
Right.
You let him get hurt, and you didn't come back for months later. So there's a story there. And realistically, it kind of made me question, like, he lost. So now, do you sow dissension among the new bloodline that just say, hey, Solo lost. He couldn't get the job done. So does this bring Rock back? Or do we not see him till Rumble? Assuming he can even be ready to go for Mania.
I'm going to throw that one to Harold. I love that whole thing. As you can tell, they're going to obviously build towards Punk and Roman at some point or another. But as DC just pointed out perfectly, Solo couldn't get it done. The last time that was kind of the thing, or I should say, the last person to stick with him that wasn't around was Uncle Dewey. Does Uncle Dewey come back? Do we get that whole spin-off again? I mean, fucking Royal Rumble's what, but 5 weeks away?
February.
February.
6 weeks. Sorry. But is that what we get, Harold? Are we getting Uncle Dewey coming back?
Who the hell is Uncle Dewey?
Who is low?
The Rock.
Dwayne.
The Rock.
Oh, I'm like, what?
That's what. I'm sorry. I always go through with that because that's what with the New Day he was calling him. He always called him Uncle Dewey.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Rock is going to be in between live action Moana and Moana 2 right now.
He's actually done.
Yeah,
He's got his commitments to TKO. It's right around WrestleMania season. It is the perfect season for him to make an appearance. I completely think it's the right time.
He's also probably signed on to make Fast and the Furious 37,000.
Oh, stop
God damn it.
it. Stop it. Oh, I used to love those movies once upon a time, but things we used to love. Survivor Series, and I'm glad this one's over. It was a good showing. I'm gonna still be that guy, and now I kind of want to ask. We got everybody here. We just did Full Gear just a few days ago, and now we're doing this one. I understand there's more of wrestling on one than the other, whatever substance, you can call it what you will. I can already hear the fucking internet people going bananas in the comments. Please do so. But because back-to-back Saturdays with a pay-per-view, who did it better this weekend? Or over the last 2 weeks, I should say. Did AEW have a better show, or was Survivor Series a better show?
I'll take this first. Honestly, I don't think you can really compare. They're different shows. You have one product
The
in
educated
AEW
answer.
that is more wrestling based, and that's fine. There is another product that is more entertainment based. That's fine. Both companies had good shows.
How often can you say
The
that?
question is,
Hey,
the big question is, how does WWE follow this up on Raw and SmackDown? How do they follow this one up?
good question. We got to figure out how they do that. But I still gotta be that guy. I understand that they're different companies, and I know that in retrospect, the smart wrestling fans would just be happy that there's both shows. But we watched both. We're reviewing both. If we had to pick, if a gun's to our head, please don't do it. And we had to pick a show. What show are you leaning with, Mike? I'm gonna assume you did watch Full Gear.
No, I watch Full Gear.
Okay,
I watch Full Gear.
Then fuck it. I'm gonna go with Mike because Mike's gonna give me something here. Hopefully, if you had to pick a show again, I understand the differences. I get the semantics, but which one did you enjoy watching more?
So I watch both, and I always say quality over quantity because Tony has to add matches on his
He
shows.
fucking
that
does.
Are ass backwards, like MJF and Adam Cole. I'm looking at you, and add matches that make no sense, like Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander. By the way, I'm a babyface because I had an epiphany. It's one of those things where both have solid talent, and I'm not faulting the talent, but I've always said the booking, everything makes sense. Everything on the show had a purpose. From Nakamura and LA Knight being, even only 3 weeks, the basis and general consensus of reintroducing Nakamura as this entity that he is now. I thought both shows were good from watching both because we all love professional wrestling. There's many different flavors out there, and I put it always like that. But if I had to choose between both respective shows, I got to go Survivor Series.
See, at least Mike's gave me an answer. Rob, how are we feeling? Mike put some great points out there. You know what I mean? We did get some stuff, and we did talk about it. We did say MJF and Roderick Strong could have happened on Dynamite. But does that still make you feel Survivor Series is a better show?
No. Honestly, they were both the same to me. They both had good points. They both had their, not so good points. I do find myself kind of leaning towards Full Gear because as a fan, I'm more interested in the wrestling aspect of it, not so much the story. But watching WWE, they told some good stories.
Mm-hmm.
The continuity is there. It makes sense. One thing that AEW is kind of lacking right now. But I, as a fan and what I like, I thought Full Gear was better.
Beautiful. Harold, hit me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of piggyback with what Rob was saying. If you're asking me to go back and watch an event, I'm going to base it off of the matches that I see on the event. I'm not going to watch it in the context of, well, what happened in the episode before it and the episode after it. I'm just going to watch the event in itself. With Survivor Series, you had maybe 3 out of 5 matches that I feel were, pretty good and that I would rewatch again. With Full Gear, probably maybe 4 to 5 out of 9 matches, simply just the quantity of it. I would probably go back and rewatch without context. So, in that respect, it's going to go to Full Gear.
I dig it. I mean, and again, we're all making this a very similar argument. 2 different shows, 2 different things worth taking in. WWE had 2 War Games matches, 2 matches that took about an hour apiece. You know what I mean? They had stories within stories within stories within those matches themselves. And you had that entertainment factor as well as the actual action itself. And then for AEW, for me, as we always get the action, sometimes I'm left with a lot of questions, trying to figure out where we go from here, and at the same time, why the decision was made for this over this. So I totally get what you guys are both saying. Again, I guess at the end of the day, in retrospect, as DC was trying to point out, you really can't compare because it's about how you feel about the product. I fully enjoyed watching Survivor Series. At no point was I bored. Did I want to take a nap? Did I need to walk away? None of those things. But I also felt like I could use a little more. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here hoping there was like another 2 or 3 matches you could have thrown my way. Give me a
They
little
can just
something.
dial back on the fucking commercials a little bit.
The
You
fact
probably
that
watch a little more WWE.
the fact that we get a commercial leading into do we get a commercial to lead into an ad to lead into a commercial is ridiculous.
Then to
Well, how
lead
many
into the
times-
video package.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, well, how many times do I have to watch Wheatley? So good, I'm drinking Wheatley. Like, how many times do I have to see that ad constantly on Peacock? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Drink Wheatley, goddamn it.
Understood. I'm sorry. Stop bullying me over the Wheatley. Goodness gracious.
Damn you, Wheatley. But no, I mean, to go on to your point, I think the general consensus of all of us talk about this, and everybody loves and really is passionate about professional wrestling. I can say an opinion, Harold can, we all can, but none of us are going to be like, well, fuck you guys. Like, I think the point of this is, fuck the tribalism, number one, but also number two, just enjoy. And if you have difference of opinions, agree to disagree. And that's the beauty of professional wrestling. That's the beauty of the art form and the craft. Everything is painted differently. And it's just all about how you paint your canvas.
I love that. I love the way you put that.
One thing I really like about the WWE pay-per-views, I personally really like the shorter format where it's just focused on the, like, usually 5 matches or so. I feel it gives it the opportunity to tell a lot of story and plant seeds to other stories, and give the matches the opportunity to breathe where they can be good. They're not all necessarily good, but it gives them the opportunity to be good. So I kind of wish AEW would shorten up the cards a little bit and put a little more focus into adding depth to their matches the way WWE does. So that's definitely something I wish they would work on.
I think that.
Yeah, I honestly think AEW they could stand to trim a couple matches from their pay-per-views.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike, you and I have talked about it. It's like those old WrestleManias. I think it was a 34 that was Undertaker and Roman that didn't get done until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
That was 33, 2017, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just went on and on and on. And it's, not that the match quality in AEW is bad, I'm not saying that. But sometimes these matches can be done. You have Collision, you have Rampage, you have Dynamite. Move shit around, or you've got to deal with Max now.
Yes.
Utilize that. WCW back in the day had Clash of the Champions. Do shit like that.
Yeah, TBS staple.
No, and I agree with Dan. I think the problem is Tony Khan is on amphetamines like Carlton Banks at the school dance. So I mean, when he's that's the problem. It just, again, we mentioned quality over quantity, and like Harold said, with the nuances going into different matches, like everything that goes into it and packaging and highlighting, that's it. It's just Tony. Just he's got to lay off the speed.
Oh, he's got to lay off the stuff, he says, the boog shug, and all the other stuff in between. All right, that's going to do it for us. That was the Survivor Series War Games review. We just got done doing Full Gear, so please go check that one out. That one's been getting a heck of a lot of views, so we thank you for that one. Hopefully this one does the same. But as you guys know, before we get out of here fully, we got to let these guys do their whole thing. So Mike jumped in last second. I appreciate him doing that, so thanks for hopping on, Mike. Let's go ahead and let's start with you. You help most of these cats with their little side projects here and there, so tell me what it is you got going on.
Of course, and I will say first and foremost, it's a pleasure actually to see and meet Harold first and foremost here on this. So Harold, much love to you and a too sweet, my friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, brother. So I will say this. If y'all want to check out Mike Larkin 92 on the YouTube front, Robert, Nicola, and I do Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling. We took that swerve if you drive, as Robert has been putting it. There you go, brother. We touched upon the Diddy on Making the Band 2, and we watched the 3 hours to... No Diddy. 3 hours to Brooklyn, 3 hours back. We did some Survivor Series predictions. We got NXT Deadline predictions next week. More to come. Origin stories. We're going to be talking about the careers of Killer Cross and Scarlett from their TNA tenures, the first WWE tenure, and then the second WWE tenure, which we are now, including the feud with the Wyatt Six. We have a lot really coming, and I mean, I really am looking forward to working with these fine gentlemen. Daniel Crimmins and I have Uncaged coming up next for Season 5. First episode is Muhammad Hassan. You can check out Paul Morales, the RWT Deadman, Daniel, and I talking the weekly review, where we get to highlight everything from news, notes, and everything in the world of professional wrestling. The debut of the Wrestling Roundtable featuring Mo, Daniel, Robert, and
Paul and Daniel, and I mean everybody. Like, man, we talked about John Cena. We have more shows coming. We're going to talk about ECW next, so there's just more to come. Check out the Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast on the channel, Pop Culture, Steve and Mike show on the Mike with Mike. It's all there. We're here, there, we're everywhere. Just enjoy, absorb, and take it all in. Dare I say, drink it in, man. And check out and subscribe to Max Wrestling.
Absolutely. Thank you for that one, by the way. DC, what's happening? Pundit dropped. I know, again, as I mentioned previously, you're working with Mike. What else is in the works with you?
We did that last week. Should have another one coming in the next day or so. Work's been, work, doing the work thing. Got another one coming. As Mike mentioned, we have Muhammad Hassan coming up. We're going to discuss kind of what went wrong, how we would have done things differently. It'll be a good season.
Hey, season. I like it. All right, Rob, what's the haps? I know the deep in the heart of wrestling. You guys had just did a predictions for this show. What else is coming up for y'all?
We did. Mike kind of plugged everything we got coming on. We are doing predictions for NXT Deadline next week.
Yep.
We've got an Origin show coming up. Killer Cross and Scarlett talking about their TNA run as well as their first run in WWE, even the current run with the feud they got going on right now with the Wyatt Six, which has been very, very, very captivating. At least we think so. If you enjoy that program, and we do hope you do, you can check out all of our links at linktree/BlackHeartsEBD3. If you enjoy this show, and we also hope you do because the numbers keep going up.
Yes, sir.
You can find all of our social media on linktree/KAWT TSK1. Any of my social media links, you can find me at linktree/Hey It's Rob. But don't come looking for me too much because I'm still eating Thanksgiving leftovers. So.
Hey, ain't we all, big dog? Ain't we all?
You got that tryptophan going on.
Yes, sir. Harold, what's the haps? I'm still dying for some more places. I need a chili spot. You got a chili spot?
Chili? You know what? I don't have one in the archives just yet, but there's a spot in Alhambra that anybody who's familiar with the area knows what I'm talking about. That will be coming out soon. Well, what also will be dropping soon is our best bakery in Solvang video. We just dropped a recent video of Solvang, which is a small little Danish town outside of Santa Barbara area. As most people that know, there are tons of bakeries in the area. Which one to go to, we'll let you know. It's the Too Sweet Click Adventures. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. If you like food, events, culture of Los Angeles, check us out. Too Sweet Click Adventures. Sure.
Movie locations.
Hey, that's
movie
right.
locations. We do that too. If you like movies, we do too.
Definitely go check those out. Definitely have to check out the Too Sweet Click Adventures. One of my favorite episodes to date is where they go and do the tour of a good handful of spots of where Back to the Future was shot. It still gives me chills to see the freaking mall from where it is, see that house. Apparently people fucking drive by that house on a regular basis. Just blows my mind. I'm a massive Back to the Future fan. So, love that. Check him out. Check the boys out. And, of course, check me out as I come at you each and every Thursday with Max Wrestling. As you guys know, the TSK takeover had happened. We were on taking over for about a month. We even covered a Max event. Promo Series 9. Truth to Kill. That's now since over. The TSK is going back to just doing pay-per-views. The captain will be back next week as we go the fallout from Promo Series 9. And, of course, as we continue towards the end of the year, more things are coming out. I'm not too sure when we're going to see the TSK boys again. We might do NXT Battleground. We might. We'll see how it goes. See how the boys feel about it. Otherwise, we'll see whenever the next one comes down the line. And as for me, the more stuff that's coming outside of Max Wrestling is going to be the footy. A whole lot of footy coming in the next few weeks because that's when, well, pretty much all the fun stuff's going to happen. The MLS, the Major League Soccer, the United States version of European football. I know how that's contradictions, but it's going to be a fun cover by a guy living here with a brand new team coming their way. So a whole lot of fun stuff here. And again, make sure you're subscribed right here on the Max Wrestling YouTube because that's where you can find most of these fellas. Head on over to Mike Larkin's page as well where you can find them too. So before we get on out of here, too sweet on one time, boys, and we will see y'all. Hell, when we see y'all.
And we'll pay you.
Hey, you